sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa
Spent 4 weeks basically demanding that Parliament be recalled and that we legislate straight away. And we do the work, we put the legislation.
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga
The Australian Open has kicked off with a shock that has stunned the world. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was seen in tears, creating a moment that no one expected at the Rod Laver Arena. What was supposed to be just another tennis match quickly turned into a full-blown emotional spectacle, leaving thousands of spectators in awe. It's rare to witness a world leader so visibly moved, yet that is exactly what happened as Albanese, sitting courtside, was deeply affected by the performance of a 20-year-old tennis prodigy. The scene was unprecedented, a powerful reminder of how sport can touch even the highest echelons of leadership. Witnesses are calling it a direct, profound, and deeply painful message from the Philippines' own Alexandria. The words cut sharply, and for a few seconds, the entire stadium fell into a suffocating silence. You could hear a pin drop. The tension was palpable, making the air feel heavy, almost impossible to breathe. Then, suddenly, pandemonium erupted. The crowd didn't just clap, they roared, a wave of thunderous applause rolling through the stands, washing away the tension yet leaving many in tears. Emotions were etched on faces everywhere. It was raw, unscripted, and it set the stage for what is shaping up to be the most dramatic Australian Open of Alexandria Eala's young career. But if you think the drama ends with a crying Prime Minister, you're mistaken. That was only the prologue. The real heartbreak and the real tears may come from what the Australian Open officials have just handed Alexandria, a draw from hell that could test her like never before. The focus now shifts to the impossible road ahead for Alexandria Eala, and the heartbreaking choice that might force her to decide between chasing Grand Slam glory or the history-making homecoming she's been dreaming of. Welcome back to Champions Tennis. If you love the drama, passion, and hard-hitting truth of the tennis world, this is the moment to pay attention. Stripping away the emotion for a second, the cold, hard reality is clear. Eala has arrived in Melbourne at a career-high ranking of world number 49, fresh off a semi-final run in Auckland, and looking dangerous. But the tennis gods were not smiling when this draw was revealed, they were laughing. Eala has been handed what insiders are calling a nightmare draw. There is no easing into the tournament, no warm-up match. From the very first round, she will face a battle that could define her young career. Alexandria Eala's first main draw match at the Australian Open pits her against one of the most unpredictable and dangerous unseeded players on the planet, America's Alicia Parks. Don't let Parks' world ranking of 100 fool you. She is a walking stick of dynamite. Parks shares the record for the fastest serve in US Open history at 129 miles per hour, a weapon that can take the racket right out of an opponent's hand. She has already won a WTA title, defeating Caroline Garcia on indoor hard courts, and she knows Melbourne well, having reached the third round here before. For Eala, this is a clash of styles that could turn ugly fast. Eala relies on lefty spin, grit, and tactical construction of points, while Parks thrives on pure, unadulterated power. Any short ball or weak shot could be met with a booming winner or a return ace. Pundits are already whispering that this is the upset alert of round one, warning that Parks has the firepower to blow the 20-year-old off the court if Eala isn't at her very best. Even a hint of nerves could cost Alexandria Eala dearly, and let's be honest, the nerves will be there. This is her debut, the Prime Minister is crying in the stands, and the entire world is watching. Can Eala handle the heat of an American power hitter who has nothing to lose? The pressure is mounting by the second, and analysts from Melbourne to Manila are dissecting every possible scenario. Many are already calling this the most dangerous first-round matchup in the entire women's draw. But let's play the optimist. If Eala plays the match of her life, neutralizes Park's serve, and grinds her down, she moves into the second round. Does it get easier? Not at all. Waiting for her is Karolina Machova, the Czech magician who reached the Roland Garros final in 2023. Widely regarded as one of the most talented players on tour when healthy, Machova doesn't just hit the ball, she plays chess with it. Slices, drop shots, net rushes, she disrupts rhythm better than almost anyone. If Parks is a sledgehammer, Machova is a scalpel, and Eala would have to completely reinvent her game plan to stand a chance. Eala would then face 48 hours to survive that brutal gauntlet, and if, by some miracle, she gets past Machova, she could run straight into her former doubles partner, the American superstar Coco Gauff. Imagine that storyline. Friends turned rivals, the lefty grit of Eala against the supreme athleticism of Goff. But Goff isn't just a friend, she's a Grand Slam champion and a wall, forcing opponents to hit 4, 5, even 6 extra balls every point. And lurking in the same half of the draw is the tiger herself, Aryna Sabalenka, the defending champion whose shots explode off the racket like gunfire. This isn't a draw, it's a gauntlet, a lineup of sharks circling a drop of blood. 3 Grand Slam champions could stand between Eala and a deep run. It's as if the Australian Open officials looked at the 20-year-old Filipina and said, "Welcome to the big leagues, kid. Good luck." Meanwhile, Prime Minister Albanese, known for his emotional and empathetic leadership, has already shown just how deeply Eala's journey has resonated with the world. Prime Minister Albanese, a leader known for wearing his heart on his sleeve, displayed an unusually raw moment of emotion, and footage of it has gone viral, amassing millions of views across social media. People are analyzing every frame, trying to read lips and understand the context. Some fans are praising Alexandria Eala for using her platform to speak truth to power, while others question whether such a personal moment should have unfolded so publicly. One thing is undeniable: Eala has transcended tennis. She has become a cultural figure, a voice that resonates far beyond the court. Whether she wins or loses in Melbourne, that voice will continue to make an impact. The Philippine government has already issued a statement commending her grace and composure, with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. calling her a national treasure and expressing hope that she will make the country proud regardless of her outcome at the Australian Open. The Philippine Tennis Federation echoed those sentiments, highlighting that Eala has already accomplished so much and that the nation stands firmly behind her, no matter the outcome. That kind of support can either lift a player or weigh heavily on their shoulders, but for Eala, it seems to be fueling her. She has embraced her role as a national icon, taking on the responsibility with pride and making it clear that she's not just playing for herself, she's playing for every Filipino who has ever dreamed of achieving something great. Yet the elephant in the room remains: the scheduling conflict and the impossible choice ahead. If Eala somehow defies the odds and makes a deep run in Melbourne, the Philippine Women's Open will have to proceed without its biggest star. Tournament organizers have contingency plans. Of course they'll promote other players and emphasize the historic nature of the event, but everyone knows it won't be the same. The entire marketing campaign has been built around Eala. She's on the posters, in the ads, and at the heart of the excitement surrounding the tournament. Eala is the reason sponsors signed on, the centerpiece of the Philippine Women's Open. Without her, the tournament loses its star power, and that's not fair to the organizers who worked tirelessly, to the other players who deserve their moment in the spotlight, or to fans who bought tickets specifically to see her play. Many have suggested that the WTA should have done more to prevent this scheduling conflict. Why not push the Philippine Women's Open back a week? Why not coordinate with the Australian Open to avoid forcing players into impossible situations? The truth is, the tennis calendar has always been chaotic. Players are constantly caught between conflicting events, sponsor obligations, and ranking pressures. The system is broken, and Eala is simply the latest victim. But pointing fingers won't solve anything. All we can do is watch and wait. Will she crash out early and head home to Manila, or will she defy expectations and push into the second week, potentially sacrificing her homecoming? Either way, it's guaranteed to be emotional, dramatic, and unmissable. The betting markets have been in a frenzy. Odds on Eala beating Parks began relatively even, but as awareness of the power gap grows, Parks has become the favorite, with some bookmakers offering as high as 3:1 against Eala winning in straight sets. Yet smart money is quietly trickling in on the Filipina, because she's been here before, not in this exact scenario, but in moments that tested her grit and resolve. Eala has faced pressure before, and she thrives under it. She won the US Open Girls title, competed in Fed Cup, and has battled back from match points to claim victory. She possesses the champion's mentality. Champions find a way, and Eala is no exception. The contrast between her and Alicia Parks could not be more stark. Parks is pure aggression and power, streaky and volatile. She can hit 10 winners in a row and then double fault 5 times in a game. On a big stage like the Australian Open, that volatility can be both a blessing and a curse. If Parks comes out firing at full speed, Eala could be in trouble. But if nerves get to Parks and she starts missing first serves or overhitting, Eala has the game to exploit it. She'll drag Parks into long rallies, force her to hit extra balls, and wait for her opponent to crack. That's the plan. Eala cannot out-hit Parks, she must outthink her, outgrind her, and play smarter. Eala will need to be tougher, smarter, and more patient than ever. And then there's the crowd factor. Melbourne has a huge Filipino community, and Eala is bound to feel their support. She'll hear her name chanted, feel that energy, and it could make all the difference. Tennis is often called an individual sport, but anyone who's played in front of a partisan crowd knows the impact it can have. Fan energy can lift a player when they're down, provide an extra burst of adrenaline when fatigue sets in, and even intimidate an opponent. If the Filipino fans show up in force, Rod Laver Arena could feel more like Manila than Melbourne, giving Eala a psychological edge that no statistic can capture. So where does this leave us? A prime minister wiping tears after a mysterious emotional encounter, a young star facing a nightmare draw, and a historic homecoming hanging in the balance, dependent entirely on her performance in Melbourne. This isn't just tennis, it's theater, drama that cannot be scripted. Will Alicia Parks blast Eala off the court with 129 miles per hour serves? Will Eala channel the intensity of her encounter with Anthony Albanese and shock the world? Or will she bow out early, head to Manila, and lift a trophy in front of her countrymen? The next 48 hours will determine everything. The Australian Open has barely begun, and already the storylines are overflowing. One thing is certain, you do not want to miss a single second. The tension is palpable, the stakes are sky high, and Alexandria Eala stands at the very center of the storm, the eye of the hurricane. Everything revolves around her. Whether she rises to the occasion or falls short, her journey promises to be one for the ages. This is what sports are all about. More than athletic competition, this is human drama in its rawest form. Is this draw unfair to Eala, or is it the ultimate test she needs to become a champion? And what about that shocking moment with the Prime Minister? Was it too much, or the kind of raw emotion that makes sports unforgettable? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the madness of the Australian Open, hit that like button, share this video with your tennis friends, and subscribe to Champions Tennis. We're covering every serve, every volley, and every tier of this tournament. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ball and keep the passion alive.
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala, Abu Dhabi.
Overachieving is a thing, as they say, dream big. I think that we had the...
Hi everyone, it's Carolina here. I'm really happy and grateful to be in semifinals again here in New York, and I look forward to